Greetings. Okay, so in this video, something I was thinking about was the major benefits of having boots on the ground out of state, right? Specifically today, we'll talk about the real estate agent, and it's something that has helped me for sure within the last, even just the last week. But over the last month or so has been great having a real estate on the ground in Memphis and familiar with the 38111 zip code. So my particular agent that I have, he actually lives in this area and has investment properties there too. So I could always bounce off him many of these properties that I'm having good numbers with, good analysis, things like that. So we'll look at a couple of these. The first one here is, and I'm not sure if you could see this very well. Let's see, 767 Sem Street. And I guess if you're on a phone, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see that. But this one right here, you can see I have this filtered by yield going down from the largest to the smallest. And yield is just the cash on cash return or the ROI. And that's based off of a particular P2 divided by F2. So we have P2, which is the yearly cash flow, right? And then you divide it by the total cash that you needed for that investment. So that's the down payment, that's any repairs, that's closing costs, all total there. You divide that, and then you get your yield. And you can see here with this, like this particular one, 767 Sem Street, has good. Obviously, it's the top yield in that particular community or zip code, and the cash flow is pretty high. And that's after taking 15% out for expenses and vacancies, property management, things like that. But you can see it's a good, decent cash flow. Now, what you might notice is that it's been on the market for a while, 127 days. Might be a little bit more now. I can't remember the last time I updated this. And it's in a red crime area. And it's a duplex. So, from what my agent says, like, duplexes can be pretty hard in that area because, they're usually like in a maybe not so great area, or they're in bad shape or something like that. So I've been kind of focusing a little bit on duplexes, but I'm running into walls, it seems like, and that's the reason, I think, is because they end up being in not so great areas, or they're kind of messed up. Maybe one side is rented and it's in okay shape, and then the other side has just kind of been sitting there, right? So we see that this is pretty good numbers, though, right? Besides a few of the facts that we were looking at. But I mean, we want to see it on the market for a while, but maybe some of these are a little bit too long, and that could kind of tell you something about some of these. So you can see, okay, 127 days. So here is the reason why I say it's so awesome to have an agent on the ground that is willing to go to these places, willing to call the listing agent, all that type of stuff, because this is what we get here, right? So he said over $800 is pushing it for rent there, and 785 is top of the market. So right now, if you look back over, one side is rented for 785. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in just in case. So it's rented for 785, but he thinks at the top. And it just so happens he has a one bedroom duplex close by and he's getting 600. But they're due to an increase to 700. So still 700 is not, I mean, $85 is kind of a big deal. Um, so he knows the agent pretty well, and also said it's not in good shape. And then he talks about in picture number 8 on Realtor, or maybe on the their MLS, two blowers working off of one mini split, and he basically says that that's probably going to be a problem in the future. So just to get an idea, like, hey, this is the comments that you're going to get that are going to help you move on, right? That's going to help you move on. It's going to help you not waste any more time on a specific property. Okay, let's check a couple more examples. Okay, 4043 East Mallory, the second one that has the second highest yield, right? Again, a good cash flow. Another duplex, one tenant already in place, 136 days. Now this one's in a little bit, maybe a little bit better of an area, but it's dark orange. That's why I have the D there, dark orange, right? Here are the comments about that one. So you'll have trouble getting good tenants there. I'd want to see this closer to 110K. So I think I had mentioned that in mind, like I would rather see it a little bit lower in price, but you can see it's at 139, and really it's been on the market for 136 days, and it took 103 days for them to even do one price cut. So we could look at this one real quick and see if, because some of them will say, and it's not, it doesn't look awesome. It's kind of like, the two duplexes, one's here, one is here. But this guy, he does want to he prefers to sell as a package with these other ones here. And I don't have, the capital to be buying 5 properties. So it doesn't mean that necessarily he wouldn't sell. He just prefers it. So that might be why it's been on the market for a while, possibly. So those are the comments on that one. The next one here is, and I'm going to skip over this one because I already did this one previously, and basically there was just some comments on this one that don't think that's the greatest place. Okay, this one. So obviously the price is right. That is really low. I even put a repair cost in here for about 10,000 because just looking at the pictures, it might even be a little bit more. Maybe I should be a little bit more conservative with that. But you could see, you could just kind of tell that it's old. You got I know the drapes can just be removed, but just the rugs and the drapes and the door, it looks old, right? The type of, it just seems like nobody's updated even the easy things like drapes, stuff like that, and the doors. They just look really kind of. I'm not even sure what that is. Is that a filter? And huh. But you can see the rug is. It looks like maybe there was like a bed right there or something, and then that's. I mean, it's kind of gross. Yeah, like a dresser right there. The rugs have never been cleaned. And then you got some, messed up walls. You got this. I don't know that anybody likes this stuff anymore. I can't. Wood paneling. So, definitely some work, right? Cabinets don't look too bad, but man, this stuff is just the wallpaper. So, probably some decent amount of work in there. But here are the comments on this particular one. Called the agent, and she said there have been probably 15 different interested people that withdrew after checking it out. Okay, so that doesn't necessarily mean it's not viable, right, as an investment property, but you do kind of wonder, especially if you're new, and I am new, if 15 other people checked that and they were like, nope, then I don't know that I would even see what would be wrong, or I wouldn't want to risk it. So that's another reason why it's good to have those people on the ground. Okay, next one is, I think it's a little bit farther down, Milton Ave, because this one looked like a decent one, right? Higher price, so you kind of think, okay, maybe it's in a little bit better shape, right? Doesn't have the greatest yield, but it is a duplex because, like I said, I've been focusing on duplexes, and it's got one tenant already. If we check on that, it'll even tell us. I love it when these things say, how much they're getting for the tenant. Okay, I guess this one doesn't say it. A lot of them will say it. They'll be like, hey, they're paying this much a month or whatever, and that's awesome because then I don't have to worry about trying to figure out the rent and everything like that, right? But it's a decent looking house. You got from the outside, you got this bigger area here, which is the 3-2, and then over here is the 1-1, right? And it doesn't look. So I don't know when these pictures were taken, but it doesn't really look horrible inside. I mean, it's not an A property, right? But it's also not a D property. So I would say, maybe a high C or a low B. It's not horrible. You could fix up a few things and make it definitely into a B. So, with that said, the 3 bed 2 bath, here are the comments though. Okay, initially when he looked at this one, he was like, "Hey, it's a good area," left a message, and I guess it was under contract in April for 10 days, and the rent comparables are all houses. So he kind of was thinking, depending on the condition, you could probably get 1,200 for the 3-2 and 850 for the 1-1, right? So that is 2,050. What did I have down? If you look here, I estimated it to be around there. So, and I think I might have been thinking it was a two on one side and a two and a half on another, or something like that. And of course, this doesn't really match up actually, because it says 3-2 on one side and a 1-1. So that would mean there's a half bath in there somewhere, I think, because that's what it said. Anyway, a little bit off by about $400 on my estimate. So, but again, that's great while you have somebody, back or on the ground, right? So that's what he's saying, 2050, and 3 bedroom side needs a lot of work and is not livable. So I kind of wonder if those pictures are from the 1 bedroom side, right? But not positive on that. And right now you can see that this 1 bedroom is being rented for $695. He said $850. So that's $155, and I was off by about 400 on his numbers. So now I'm off about 250. Is that right? Am I doing the math in public? Not great. Um, but you could see how there is a difference. I think my estimation and his estimation, probably a little bit more in the middle. But those are so anyway, those are kind of the comments that you'll see from agents, and the great reason to have agents on the ground, so that they can either one, call the agents, text them, whatever. They know the agents, they know the areas, they invest there, they live there, and they can really kind of like off the cuff tell you what is a good area to invest in, and what might not be the greatest area to invest in, whether that's like numbers wise, or maybe just the way that people take care of the houses there, or something like that. All right, that's it for today. Appreciate you being here. Take care.